the sky over Moore, Oklahoma, did not look dramatic at first. It looked heavy, low, pressed down, the kind of sky that feels unfinished. In central Oklahoma, people learn to read the sky early, not because they want to, but because the land demands it. On the afternoon of May 20, 2013, weather alerts began escalating across the region. Television coverage intensified. Sirens followed. Meteorologists were tracking a rapidly strengthening storm system capable of producing a violent, long-track tornado. Inside Plaza Towers Elementary School, the school day was still underway. Children were finishing assignments. Teachers were managing classrooms. The building still functioned as what it was meant to be, a place of routine and order. One of those teachers was Jennifer Doan. In Oklahoma, tornado drills are not symbolic, they are practical. Teachers are trained to move students quickly into interior spaces, away from windows, into bathrooms or reinforced hallways. The goal is not safety in the absolute sense. There is no such thing in a direct hit but risk reduction. Jennifer Doan followed those procedures. She helped guide her students into shelter. She kept them together. She did what the system prepared her to do. At that point, no one inside the school knew the tornado would strike the building directly. Tornadoes change direction. They weaken. They lift. Most of the time, schools are spared. This time, it did not happen that way. Tornadoes do not announce themselves clearly. They arrive through changes in pressure, sound, and movement. Before the impact, the air itself becomes unstable. Objects behave differently. Noise deepens. Witnesses later describe the sound not as wind, but as something mechanical, continuous, overwhelming. The tornado was no longer nearby. It was arriving. When the EF5 tornado struck Plaza Towers Elementary, the structure began to fail almost immediately. This was not incremental damage. An EF5 tornado carries winds strong enough to remove roofs, collapse walls, and lift heavy debris into lethal motion. The building was not designed to withstand that force. Inside, teachers pulled students as close as possible. Instructions became minimal. Get down, stay together, cover your head. That is all there is time for. At that moment, Jennifer Doan did not have options. She had seconds. The physical environment was collapsing faster than any response could adapt. So she did what remains when systems fail. She pulled her students close, and she used her own body as a shield. This action is documented. It does not require embellishment. It is enough as it is. The experience of a tornado impact is not cinematic. It is disorienting. Pressure changes violently. Air becomes filled with debris. Visibility disappears. People inside collapsing structures often report the same sequence of sensations: noise, darkness, movement, and the loss of spatial awareness. The brain struggles to process what the body is experiencing. Time stretches. Direction disappears. Then, abruptly, the force moves on. Tornadoes do not linger. They pass. What remains is silence. Not calm silence. The kind of silence that feels incomplete. Plaza Towers Elementary School was destroyed. Not damaged, not partially standing. Gone. Large portions of the building had been flattened. Rooms no longer existed as defined spaces. Hallways were erased. Those who survived were no longer inside a structure, they were inside debris. Jennifer Doan was alive. The students she had protected were alive. They were trapped. After a tornado of this magnitude, rescue operations become complex immediately. Collapsed buildings are unstable. Secondary collapses are common. Emergency responders must move deliberately. At Plaza Towers, rescuers knew children had been inside. They worked against time, debris, and structural danger. During this period, survivors often wait in darkness or partial light. Movement is limited. Sound carries unpredictably. The experience becomes one of endurance rather than action. Jennifer Doan remained with the children, keeping them together, providing presence when no other help could reach them yet. This is not speculation. This is what teachers do in disasters. Eventually, rescuers reached the space where Jennifer Doan and the students were trapped. Voices were heard. Debris was removed. Hands reached in. One by one, students were pulled free, alive. Jennifer Doan was rescued as well. She had been injured. She survived. The students with her survived. In the days that followed, the scale of the disaster became clear. The tornado was classified as EF5, the strongest category. It killed 24 people, including children. Hundreds were injured. Entire neighborhoods in Moore were erased. Plaza Towers Elementary became one of the most visible sites of loss. In the aftermath of disasters, stories emerge quickly. Some are accurate, some are simplified. Jennifer Doan did not frame her actions as heroic. This is common among survivors. The language used afterward tends to focus on instinct, responsibility, and immediacy. There is rarely a sense of decision-making as people imagine it. There is only response. Heroism is often misunderstood as a dramatic choice. In reality, it often looks like staying in place when everything else is coming apart, not advancing, not escaping, staying. After the rescue, the story did not end. Plaza Towers Elementary was never rebuilt. The community carried loss that extended far beyond physical damage. Teachers returned to classrooms elsewhere. Students grew older with memories they did not ask for. Survival does not reset life to zero. It alters it. Jennifer Doan returned to teaching. Not because the experience disappeared, but because teaching was still what she knew how to do, and because walking away would not undo what had happened. The Moore tornado is often summarized with statistics: wind speeds, damage estimates, fatality counts. But numbers do not explain what happens inside collapsing buildings. They do not explain why a teacher stays when leaving might save only herself. That explanation lives somewhere quieter. In responsibility accepted long before disaster arrives. In the understanding that when you take responsibility for children, you accept risk that is not equally shared. Jennifer Doan did not stop a tornado. She did not control the outcome. She did not defeat nature. She endured the moment with her students beneath her long enough for rescue to arrive. This is not a story about weather. It is a story about presence, about staying when leaving is possible, about the quiet form of courage that does not announce itself. The tornado passed. The building fell. But in one small space, a human decision held long enough to matter. In the years after the tornado, life did not return to what it had been. It moved forward differently. Jennifer Doan continued teaching, and later, she became a mother, not as a symbol, not as a headline, simply as a woman who carried forward the same sense of responsibility into a new life she was now asked to protect. The students who survived that day grew up. Some remember fragments, some remember nothing clearly at all, but they lived. They went on to new schools, new classrooms, new futures, carrying with them a moment that could have ended everything, and didn't. Plaza Towers Elementary no longer stands, but the choice made inside it did not disappear with the building. It moved quietly into the years that followed, into classrooms rebuilt elsewhere, into lives continued, into children who were allowed to grow up, not because the storm spared them, but because someone stayed. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, please consider sharing it. Subscribe for more stories that deserve to be told.